Well, Cloud was always my favorite, one of my favorite characters of any game for that matter. His design was just, it's classic, obviously. I'm not the only one that feels that way. And I haven't actually drawn Cloud in a very long time. I think Advent Children was like the last time I've actually drawn him, if I could remember correctly. Never did any commissions. Yeah, I was obsessed with Advent Children. So I'm really excited for the remake, as you could tell, probably. It looks amazing, and yeah. So I'm going to try not to ink every little sketch line that I have here, because I didn't actually place a lot of indications for where the shadows and the highlights are going to be. But luckily for me, his outfit is high contrast because of all the black, and then he has the white hair, so I could play around with the lighting. Woke up this morning and I was just going to start working on the comic, but wanted to take a little break to do a sketch, and then I went from that to now probably going to be an hour's worth of sketching. Get me warmed up. I actually walked to the beach today with my fiance, and that kind of broke our little habit of just waking up and being on the computer right away or checking emails and stuff like that. So this is also breaking my habit. I'm trying to change my style up a little bit without changing too much of it, just for the sketch, because I think it lends itself well if I don't go too far in the direction I use when I draw comics like Lola. I think I'm going to do the shadow areas first, or the areas that I think are going to have the most shadows, and then leave the areas that I might have to go in and just use a brush and kind of get most of it done with one fell swoop. I have a tendency to want to noodle around with it because of all the detail in his outfit, like the textures, but we don't have that much time. So, and since his outfit is mostly black, kind of have to figure out what's the lightest part of the black areas or the outfit, so that there's a contrast to it and it's not all in darkness, which would still look kind of cool, I guess, but I want to just be able to render a lot of the stuff we don't see in the shadows. If I wanted to do this quicker, I would actually just spot the black spots first, or the darker spots first, and then go in there with a pen and do that. You know what, I think I might switch and do that instead. Makes it more dramatic as well. It gives it that dramatic look. And the neat thing about sketching is there's not one way to do something, and it's a good time to experiment with maybe a way of approaching a piece. So this is a good way to get things done faster, and it allows me to see the really broader picture and the shapes that are going to make up the composition. And I think I'll leave some right here to texture with the pen. Part of the most fun for me is the cross hatching and the detail with the finer pens. I actually just prefer inking in general. There's so much you could do with it, and there's just bringing out a piece. The contrast you get with pens is amazing. It took a while for me to learn how to ink with brushes and just inking in general. Because I was studying to be a penciler, so inking wasn't one of the things that I thought I was going to start doing, but I'd have to say I really enjoy it now that I do it all the time. I'm thinking maybe that I could just reserve the brush for the really dark areas, so I think I'm going to switch back to the pens. Yeah, I think I'll do that. I'm not using my smudge guard, so if it smudges, then oops. There we go. So let's switch to a slightly thicker pen. So this is a 0.3. But I want to leave a lot of negative space for his hair, so I'm not actually rendering it out completely. Not only does that save time, but I think it makes the piece look more dramatic and high contrast. The thing about using fine tip pens like this is it lends itself to a lot of the desire to make a lot of detail, which depending on how much time I want to spend on a sketch, I don't want to overutilize these pens. I know I want to get this done as quickly as possible, but not to a point where the piece falls apart because I'm rushing, which I have a tendency to do with deadlines, and so this is just a sketch, so I should take my time, but not so much time I'm not getting stuff done for work. But this stuff is so much fun. There's definitely a different feeling when you're not there's not a deadline, which by the way is very necessary, especially as a artist. To get stuff done, you have to give yourself deadlines, or I'd be over rendering probably. No, I don't want to leave his eyes for last. Let's just do it now. Oh, it's so scary. I don't want to mess up. Maybe I should use really small 0.1. Cloud in his dramatic eyes. Try not to make him cross-eyed. That would really suck. It'd be kind of funny too, though. He's like ultra serious, but he's cross-eyed. Yeah. I know I've done that before. Not with Cloud, though. Not that I can remember. Trying not to over-render the eyes, because usually that's what I do. So, I should probably walk away from this now before I do too much damage. Stop it! Stop it! No. Okay. Like I said, I don't want to over-render the hair, because I want the background to help form, use the negative space to my advantage. Especially because he has light hair. I don't want the value to be too dark. Okay, I need to stop again. Keep wanting to overdo it. This took an hour and a half longer than I anticipated, but you know, it's cloud. This is either going to look really cool or really bad. I'm trying to avoid using my jelly roll. You know, better planning up front, which is probably why it took longer than I anticipated, because usually when I sketch I don't plan that far ahead, and you know, I end up using the jelly rolls for fun. But this is good practice since I'm going to be doing this every day for the next 6 months. Drawing comics, I mean, and inking. I'm not going to be drawing cloud. I just gave myself more work to do. Now I have to render out the background. I think we're just about going to call this piece done.